In this Diablo 2 build guide, we're going to be taking a look at the Whirlwind Barbarian. This is an endgame barbarian build that can get you through Nightmare and even Hell difficulty in Diablo 2 Resurrected. If you're looking for an endgame barbarian Whirlwind build, then this guide is for you. The Whirlwind Barbarian cuts through his enemies, dealing damage in a large AoE. You'll be using Whirlwind as your main and only attack skill in combination with some shouts. This Diablo 2 Barbarian build is intended to be used for Nightmare and Hell difficulty starting around level 40. You can start the game with this build, but I personally recommend you use our Frenzy Barbarian build instead and then respec into this one. If you're already playing and want to respec into this build though, the easiest way to do it is by claiming the Den of Evil reward from Akara at the Rogue encampment. You'll get 3 respecs, 1 for each difficulty, and you'll need to be on the same difficulty to reclaim them. Like most builds in Diablo 2 Resurrected, our stats distribution will focus on assigning enough points into strength and dexterity to meet equipment requirements, and then assigning everything else into vitality to gain as much life as possible. Having a Hellfire Torch and an Annihilus will greatly reduce your stat investment into strength. These unique charms provide between plus 10 to 20 to all attributes and plus 10 to 20 to all elemental resistances. Having both in your inventory will save you between 20 and 40 stat points that you can spend into vitality, greatly increasing your health pool. The additional passive resistances will also allow you to depend less on plus all resistance equipment, opening up more options. If you don't have a Hellfire Torch or Annihilus yet, I strongly recommend that you get them as soon as you can. Perfect rolled ones are very expensive, but you can get bad rolled ones for very affordable prices. Make sure to get a low roll when you're starting off, and then upgrade it when you have enough money. The Whirlwind Barbarian mainly focuses around the Whirlwind skill, but you'll also need to spend some points into shouts to buff yourself. You'll use the following skills when playing this Diablo 2 Resurrected Barbarian build. Whirlwind. The whole build is designed around this ability, which makes your character move to the selected point while spinning and dealing very high damage around a small AoE. This build is very fun, but you might need some practice to get used to how this skill works, as it might be a little clunky at times. To best use this skill, you'll want to focus on big packs of monsters. Once they are close together, click past them and your character will spin forward. You can go back and forth until all enemies are dead. Try to keep your whirlwinds as short as possible, as this maximizes the damage output and reduces the time you're locked into the animation. The best way to achieve this is by moving in a small triangular shape on top of your enemies. It's also important to note that you won't be able to perform any actions or use potions while using whirlwinds, so you'll want to make sure to practice the distance of your whirlwinds or they might get you killed. Whirlwind consumes a lot of mana and puts you in close combat with monsters, so mana and life-stealing equipment is essential to make it work on Nightmare and Hell difficulties. Whirlwind does not work with on attack, on striking, or when you kill an enemy mods, but you'll still be able to inflict passive modifiers such as Open Wounds, Crushing Blow, or Deadly Strike. In addition, Whirlwind only benefits from increased attack speed mods of your weapon and ignores the rest of your equipment. Whirlwind damage starts at level 1 with minus 50% damage, meaning that you'll deal half your damage when using this ability. This reverts at level 8, at which point you'll start gaining positive damage values for each point assigned to this skill. Sword Mastery. This skill passively increases your damage and attack rating while using sword-type weapons. It also provides a chance to inflict a critical strike. I personally like to use swords for this build, but you can also use axes or maces, so assign your points according to the weapon that you're using. If you plan to use the Immortal King set, then you should go with maces. Iron Skin. This skill passively increases your defense rating, which makes your character a lot harder to hit. Remember that you need to walk at all times to be able to take advantage of your defense values. Increased Speed. This skill passively increases your walk-run speed, allowing you to quickly reach enemies even while walking. Natural Resistances. Elemental resistances are one of the most important stats, and natural resistance passively increases all of them, making it one of the best barbarian skills. Since a good part of your resistances will come from your equipment, you'll only probably need 1 point, but if you're lacking resistances, don't hesitate to spend points here to compensate for that. Shout. This skill greatly increases the defensive value of all your party members, allowing you to avoid even more attacks. Battle Command. When used, this shout temporarily increases all of your skills by +1, making your other skills even better. Make sure to use it before the rest of your shouts. Battle Orders. The Barbarian gets the highest amount of health between all characters per each point spent into Vitality. This shout greatly increases your life, mana, and stamina by a percentage, allowing you to reach incredible amounts of health. Since this guide begins at level 40, you'll first want to focus on your Whirlwind and Weapon Mastery, and then work towards completing your shouts and Iron Skin. You should have around 43 skill points at level 40, 39 from levels, and 4 from quests. You should have your skills placed in the following manner. At level 90, you should have 101 skill points to distribute, 89 from levels and 12 from quests, and they should look like this. It's important to note, since this is a melee build, you'll need to have a decent amount of equipment to make it viable in the end game. This is because your damage and chance to hit will highly depend on your equipment instead of your skill points. The Barbarian is able to wield one weapon in each hand, opening up a lot of options. You'll first want to focus on getting a good weapon that has high damage, and then focus on the rest of your equipment. When you're starting off, you'll obviously have less gear, so here's some cheap rune words and unique items that you can use while you search for better gear. For helmets, the first is the Lore rune word. This helmet provides +1 to all skills as well as 30% lightning resistance. You can farm the runes for this by completing Nightmare Countess runs. The second option is uniques. Barbarian helmet uniques such as Demon Horn's Edge and Halberd's Reign are great options as they provide plus skills and great stats. For weapons, you have a few options. The first is the Bloodletter unique. This sword is perfect for this build as it provides plus Whirlwind, plus Sword Mastery, as well as attack rating, damage, and attack speed. The second option is the Oath rune word. This is a great alternative that provides very high damage, attack speed, and the ability to summon Heart of the Wolverine. Note that the Bone Spirit won't be able to proc while using Whirlwind, but the rest of the stats are still great for this build. The third option is the Kingslayer rune word. This is another good alternative that provides great damage, attack rating, crushing blow, and open wounds. Both previously mentioned rune words can be farmed from Hell Countess runs. When it comes to armor, the first option is the Stealth rune word, and this is by far the best armor that you can get early on. The plus 25% movement speed is nice, while the poison resistance and faster hit recovery provides more survivability. The second option is the Duress rune word. This armor provides a lot of defense and resistances, as well as cold damage, crushing blow, and open wounds. When it comes to gloves, you want to focus on defensive stats such as life and resistances. For the belt, you want something with life and resistances. You want to search for faster run walk speed on your boots, as well as resistances on life. You'll want to search for rings that have life, stats, and resistances. Try to find an amulet that provides stats, health, resistances, or plus barbarian skills. For charms, you'll mainly want to look for plus life, plus resistances, plus attack rating, plus damage, and plus combat skills. The Immortal King set is a great option for this build as well. You'll need to spend a lot of points into strength to equip all pieces, and you should go for mace mastery instead of sword mastery if you're using it. Once the set is fully equipped, the Immortal King's Stone Crusher will gain a massive amount of elemental damage that works great with Whirlwind. The rest of the set will cover your resistances and provide you attack rating, covering most of the important areas. Once you're reaching max level, you'll want to start searching for the following equipment to complete your character. Helmets. Arid's Face unique. This is the best barbarian helmet, providing a massive increase to skills, attack rating, faster hit recovery, all resistances, strength, dexterity, and life leech. You can add a socket and insert an rune for even more resistances. For the weapon, you want 2x Grief rune words. There are a couple of different options when it comes to weapons, and they mostly depend on your preferences and economy, but for clearing endgame content, I feel like 2 Grief is the best way to go. Grief provides a massive amount of flat damage, as well as increased attack speed, deadly strike, and damage versus demons. I highly recommend you craft them on phase blades to maximize efficiency. For your offhand, you'll want 2 Heart of the Oak rune word. These rune words will provide you a massive +6 to skills, allowing you to cast much better shouts. If you're running Enigma, it'll also decrease the casting time for teleport thanks to the additional faster cast rate. For armor, you have 2 options, and the first is the Enigma rune word. This armor provides +2 to all skills, as well as a lot of strength, life, and magic find. The teleport ability is great to quickly reach your destination, greatly reducing the time of your runs. The second option is the Fortitude rune word. This armor provides a massive amount of defense and resistances, as well as greatly increasing your damage. If you're not interested in the teleport ability, then you should go for this rune word. When it comes to gloves, you want the Laying of Hands unique. These gloves greatly increase your fire resistance and provide a massive damage bonus against demons. When it comes to belts, you want the String of Ears unique. This belt provides a massive amount of damage reduction as well as life leech, which allows you to maintain your health while fighting. When it comes to boots, you want the Gore Rider unique. These boots provide +30% faster run walk speed, as well as open wounds, crushing blow, and deadly strike, making them the best option for this build. When it comes to rings, you want 1 Dual Leech ring rare. You'll need a ring that provides both life leech and mana leech to be able to keep spamming Whirlwind. For secondary mods, focus on life, resistances, and attack rating. For the second ring, you want the Raven Frost unique. This ring prevents you from being frozen, which is very important for this build. When it comes to amulets, you can either use the High Lord's Wrath unique. This amulet provides +1 to skills, as well as deadly strike and lightning resistance. Or you can use Mars Kaleidoscope unique. This amulet provides +2 to all skills, as well as 20 to 30 to all resistances, and +5 to all attributes. For charms, you'll mainly want to look for plus life, plus resistances, plus attack rating, plus damage, and plus combat skills. When it comes to mercenaries, you'll want the Holy Freeze or Might Mercenary from Act 2 Nightmare for this build. The Holy Freeze aura is great for dealing with large crowds of enemies, while the Might aura will greatly increase your damage. When it comes to equipment, the best weapon would be the Reaper's Toll Unique, which allows your mercenary to apply the Decrepify Curse on enemies. For armor, you want to get the Fortitude Runeword, and for helmet, Andari's Visage. Final tips. Remember to keep your shouts active at all times as they provide a lot of life, mana, damage, and defense. You want to use Battle Command first, as it increases the effect of the rest of your shouts. This build can be very mana hungry, so make sure to carry a couple of mana potions. If you run out of mana, you won't be able to attack. If you click on enemies while standing next to them, your character will perform a normal attack, so always aim behind them. If you're having trouble hitting enemies, try to increase your attack rating with charms. Stay tuned for more Diablo 2 build guides, and be sure to check out our Diablo 2 Resurrected Wiki for more information about the game. So what did you guys think of our Whirlwind Barbarian build? What Barbarian build are you using? Let us know in the comments below.